up, everybody? I am back in the kitchen because, you know, some days you just wake up and you want something extremely sugary, and there is nothing better than a sugar cookie. So I found this recipe on the Recipe Critic, and I had to make it because this is a bold claim that this is the best sugar cookie recipe ever. So I'm gonna test it out, and at the same time, see if I can make like a galaxy kind of version. As always, all the ingredients will be in the video description if you decide you want to make this later on. How we're starting with butter. You need 3/4 cup, which I already broke down for you is 12 tablespoons. So I'm gonna have to cut this up. And it is supposed to be softened. So I pulled this out of the fridge about an hour ago, so hopefully this is gonna kind of work well. So that was 6. Look at me, I'm doing all the hard work for you so you can just enjoy it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh yeah, 6 plus 6 would be, yeah. That math tracks. All right, so all of that is going to go into a large mixing bowl, and we are going to mix it until it is smooth. I don't know exactly what tool I'm supposed to use, so I'm gonna start out with a fork and see how it goes. As always, I have my dual cameras, so this is gonna be great fun. I don't know if it was softened enough. I'm not even gonna mess with that. I'm just immediately pulling out the blender. Where did I put the blender? Found it. This is gonna be really weird because I feel like the butter is just not gonna cooperate today, and I don't wanna have to put it in the microwave, but we do what we gotta do. So I know you're probably wondering why I don't have like a kitchen mixer. I literally have nowhere to put it. This is a smaller than you think kitchen. It might not look like it, but the counter space, not a lot there. I love how like most of the butter is completely caught up in the mixers. This was a horrible good idea. You only learn one way. You gotta try it out and then learn that it's a horrible, horrible idea. Wow. It works so well when there are other ingredients mixed in with it. It's not a standalone mixer kind of ingredient, is it? Well, live and learn, I suppose. This was not even, I didn't even consider this being a possibility. For some reason, never crossed my mind. But now it like makes more sense than anything. Did I get outsmarted by butter? Yes. Yes, I did get outsmarted by butter. Did I learn my lesson? Probably not. I will probably do this again. So the next time you see me do a video and I have to blend butter until smooth, I will probably do this again. If I don't, you know why. Is it smooth? I don't know. Like, what? I feel like butter starts out smooth. Why am I doing this? You know what? I think that's good enough. So now we're going to add the sugar. It's 3/4 a cup, which should be this one. I bought brand new sugar for all of this. The problem is when I put it in the containers, I don't know if you can see the containers that I've put this in. The little one is for the sugar, so I have to use what's in here first because I can't fit it all in there. All right, 3/4 cup. All right, there's the sugar. And once again, I wrote the recipe down. So the recipe actually calls for like a cream cheese frosting, and I don't know if that's like just sugar craving fiend inside of me that I don't want frosting. I just want more sugar on my sugar cookies. So I'm not gonna make the frosting, but I am gonna give you guys the recipe for it. If that's your jam, have at it. I don't want it. It does look kind of really good though. Again, did I learn my lesson? No, I absolutely didn't. I'm going back to the blender. But it's got sugar in it this time. So like, do you think that'll help keep it from being a monstrosity? I don't know. One way to find out. So once you're finished adding the sugar to the butter, which in my opinion is also like the best pancake topping, you're gonna add some vanilla extract and the secret ingredient, almond extract. All right, so we need egg, vanilla, almond, and once again, we're gonna mix. Egg. So you need a teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/2 half a teaspoon of the almond. Personally, I would do it the opposite way, but I will listen. I will follow the instructions. I almost did exactly what I said I was not going to do. I'm not used to having my vanilla being like smaller than stuff that I don't use half as much. Ooh, that just smells good. I love it. All right, plug this back in. Here we go. All right, so in a medium bowl, I think this is gonna count as like a medium, that's the large. You need to start mixing all of the dry ingredients. So that's gonna be your flour, your salt, and your baking powder, not baking soda. You need 3 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I don't know if you ever learned the trick of like how to measure your flour correctly. I don't know if you want to say it's correct, but like using a butter knife to pat it down. I mean, that's the way I've always done it. So I'm going to just continue to do it that way because I think it works. If you have no idea what I am talking about, basically what you do is you take the scoop of flour and you pat this all the way to the back to fill in like any little gaps. I know I'm spilling this straight into the thing. And then just swoop it off. And you have a perfect 1 cup-ish. The way I always did it, I don't see that it like takes away from anything or adds anything. I don't know. It's just habit, memory. Don't do it that way, Marie. What's wrong with you? Use the flat side of the butter knife, not like the curved side. I just did that. It doesn't help. And there's the 3/4. It's not 3/4. It's 1/4. I don't know how to fix adding too much flour other than putting everything back into the flour box bag and starting over because I don't know how to fix that. That was, yeah, make sure you read the ingredients and you know your own writing because I did not recognize my own writing between a 1 and a 3. So it's 2 cups and 1/4. 2 and 1/4 cup of flour. 1/4, not 3/4. Don't do that again. That probably would have made a huge difference in how this turned out. But you know what? We acknowledge our mistakes. I made a big one and I fixed it. All right, so once we have the flour in there, we need half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of baking powder. I think it's weird that I only have 1/2 teaspoon. You would think with all the stuff I have, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna start with the baking powder, not baking soda. Make sure you are clear on that. There's 1. And salt. And now we're just gonna incorporate all of this. I'm gonna use a whisk because I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then it says you're gonna slowly add this mixture. And you're just gonna keep incorporating it. Put that there for a second. Getting like a crumble, I love it. I don't wanna lose any of the mixture, so I'm gonna grab a little spatula and try to get everything off the sides that I probably missed. I don't know if I'm the only one that does this, but when you're working, do you like make faces and you're like thankful that nobody can see the faces that you're making or paying attention to the faces that you're making? Because I promise it's probably not an attractive face that you're making, but it's like you can't help it. You're like, let me see, yeah, it's just, it doesn't look good. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to beat until dough comes together. I don't want to beat it, but I'll mix it nicely. It'll eventually come together. You know what'll make it faster? I don't know if you have noticed that I like to go hands-on with these recipes, but you gotta take the rings off. If you don't take the rings off, this is gonna get all caught up in every little crevice of those rings. Not fun. So rings and jewelry off. I'm gonna keep the bracelets because I don't think the bracelets will harm in any way. And we're just gonna hand mix. This is where you add all of your love in your cooking, right? You get your hands in there and you feel yourself putting nothing but love into this sugary sweet mess. I like that. Because if you're not putting love into your cooking and your baking, like, what are you doing? You've seen like those stuff that you can put in your kitchen that like, oh, it was made with love. Well, how are you making it with love? You gotta add the love. We're adding the, oh, it sounds like I broke this thing. We are adding the love. Oh, it's not broken. It's just hitting all that sugar on the counter. And because this is made with raw egg, do not eat the dough. As tempting as it is, do not eat the raw dough. But I will not say anything if you do. So once we have mixed it as well as we can, we are going to form it into a ball, and then we're going to put it in the fridge for about an hour to chill. And after that, the first part will be done. Okay, we are back in the kitchen, ready to start baking. And are we ready? Ta-da! Now, as you can probably see, that our bowl has multiplied into 4 other bowls. I really want to test out this idea that I can make galaxy cookies easily, like sugar cookies, easily, but I didn't want to use all of the cookie dough for something that might end up turning out horribly. So we're going to test out with just a small portion of each color. I have a blue, a purple, a neon pink, and I had to make a black, which was a mixture of red, green, and blue, and took forever, and I don't recommend it. So if you can like find an actual black gel dye, use that. That was a nightmare. But we're gonna get straight back into the cooking. I've got my cookbook right here. Again, I know I need to print out pictures for all the other things that I have already done. I just have not gotten around to it. I promise I will. I'm just very behind. So we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Not set a timer. Not yet, at least. Okay, got the oven going, and then, so the recipe says to line a pan with, like a cookie pan sheet with parchment paper. I don't have something like that, so I'm going to do it the way that I know how, and that is on the counter with flour. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna roll it out to the desired thickness, and we're gonna start cutting. So I have my little rolling pin, which is going to be used more so with the colored dye, because I'm going to, here's the plan. Move that regular cookie dough off to the side, go right into these 4. And the plan is I'm going to layer all of these. Like, I'm going to flatten them and then layer them all on top of each other, smush it down, and then roll it out. And then roll it again, and then just chop it. I saw this for like shortbread cookies, and I was like, that should work for sugar cookies, right? So first things first, I gotta clean the counter, which you probably should have done that earlier. I know, I forgot. I did clean it earlier in my defense. I just made it messy again when I started cooking. We can add some flour to the counter and start making cookies. If you've ever made cookies together before, I am big on adding flour to the rolling pin so the cookies do not stick. So we are going to take all of our colors. We have the pink, we have the blue, we have a purple, and then the makeshift black. So I'm gonna start, probably gonna have to warm these up a little bit because I need them to flatten. I might have to split these up into smaller, come on. So we're like adding, no, I think the purple should be between, right? Because when pink and blue get together, if you know colors, you know colors. I know colors. We'll do purple, then blue, and then black. Because I always think like with Galaxy, blue is always like the closest to the edge. We'll do that there. And now we're just gonna flatten these. But I am really just like, this is trial and error. I've never done anything like this, so this could end up looking really good, or it could end up looking really, really bad. Either way, I'm up for any of it. I'm gonna just move these off to the side real quick, and that's a lot of flour. Just start rolling. I mean, that already looks kind of cool, not gonna lie. We already have a problem. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because once we flatten it, we're going to roll it. Like, it makes sense in my head how this should end up going. But that's just in my head. Who knows how it will actually end up? Yes, I am like folding on folding. It's like way too much flour now. Like I need to make this into like a little cylinder so I can cut it. Okay, let's just leave it there because I feel like I'm just making this worse the longer I'm doing this. These are gonna be teeny tiny. All right, I mean, we're just gonna have to have like a couple teeny tinies because we have to figure out if this works or not. The problem was I added way too much flour. That is absolutely on me. I will take it because now the cookie doesn't even want to stay together. It wants to just not cooperate. I'm just gonna flatten these out a little bit. They're already pretty tiny, but they're still gonna be like a little thick. Now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to combine these two, not use half as much flour because that's what definitely ruined it the first time. So we will roll it out a little bit more, then we can roll it. I want to do like a little this. This is what I want to do. It's not long enough. It should be okay. It blends way too much. It's not working too great. It's like if I make it thick enough, maybe I can flatten it down just a little bit. I don't know what I'm hoping to get out of this, but this is going to be fantastic practice. These are just going to be the most random looking cookies you've ever seen in your life. These definitely had potential. I ruined the potential, but they had potential. It could have worked if I did not try so hard to mess it. Like, okay, this one, pretty much perfect. I think this one's gonna look so cool. But then you have me who goes and just does too much. Oh, these are just not sticking together, so I'm just gonna have to start smushing them even more together. Wow, this is a nightmare. Nightmare of a cookie. Nice thing with sugar cookies though, add sugar, which is all I need to do at this point. And I got the perfect kind of sugar. I got Silver Shimmer Sprinkles. Try to say that 10 times fast. Silver Shimmer Sprinkles. It's actually Sprinkles Silver Shimmer Sugar. That's even harder. Silver Shimmer Sugar. Now we will add sprinkles to everyone. That is like not coming out at all. Too much. Too much. Is there such a thing as too much? I don't know. You know, half of the sprinkles fall off anyway. But I'm like patting them in because I want the sprinkles to stay. All right, and then you're gonna put them in the oven for 8 to 11 minutes. I'm gonna put these in for 8 minutes since they're relatively small. I don't want them to like get overcooked or burnt. So I'm gonna set a timer for 8 minutes. And while that is cooking, I'm gonna work on the rest of the dough. All right, so we got a little over 3 minutes before the timer is gonna go off. I have flattened out my dough. I like the cookies pretty thick, which I think was one of the problems I was having with the Galaxy ones, because I cannot make them that thick when there's barely anything of them. So I'm gonna make some hearts because really I don't have a lot of like cookie cutters because I am not in the kitchen this often. Usually during holidays, that is when I do most of my baking. But this has been fun, so it's definitely brought me into the kitchen a lot more than usual, and I am loving this. So now that we've gotten through that, obviously we're going to roll this up into a ball again and cautiously, sparingly use flour because this stops holding together if you use too much flour. So I really only have 2 types of cookie cutters. I have a flour and I have a heart. So I can do 2 flours maybe. Look at how thick these are. These are going to be delicious. Honestly, I think when it comes to cookies, the thicker they are, the softer and chewier they are. Oh, man, I love it. There would have been a lot more cookies if I hadn't tried to go the Galaxy route, but you live and learn. And then, as I usually do when there is like no cookie dough left, I just make it into a cookie. I'll just roll it into a ball and then flatten it out to the proper cookie size, and I'll cook that. All right, cookies are done. I hear ya. They're falling apart, but they're really cute. I feel like that's a description of anybody. Really cute, but they're falling apart. Just absolutely falling apart. These might need a little bit more time. They do. I'm gonna put them back in for like a minute or 2. And then I can get the others onto the other cookie sheet I have. Hadn't planned on using 2 cookie sheets tonight, but it's fine. All right, get the cookies on the pan. I think we are actually gonna get all of them. Yes, we did. We got all of our cookies onto the pan. I love that for us. Now we're gonna add sprinkles. Never too much, but there can be too little. Okay, I think we're gonna be able to switch out the pans this time. Okay. That was like, not done. You are done. You're done. You're not done. You're going in. All right, this one I'm going to keep in for the full 11 minutes, and then we will get these out and see how good we did. All right, last batch of cookies is done. So let's get these. Those don't even look like they are close to being done, so we're going to give it a little bit more time. All right, we should be good to get these out of the oven. Where did I put the oven mitt? I don't, oh, I lost it. All right, so hopefully these turn out okay. These look really good. So when we go the normal cookie route, they look fantastic. These look delicious. They look amazing. But when you try to go another route that you don't know, I made Play-Doh. Genuinely what it looks like. It's just like clumpy, covered with sprinkles. This one turned out kind of cool. But I will say though, as disastrous as they look, actually taste really good. I cannot wait to get into the larger ones. They all look amazing. This is gonna be so good. I know where I went wrong with this one, so this will definitely be attempted again in the future, just not tonight. So hopefully you guys had a lot of fun and gained a new recipe. So I will see you next time. Bye.